In 2012, we had 46 companies that received business angel investment on the island, north and south. They received a total of 9 million of business angel investing and leveraged a further 15 million of other funds, public and private, so a total of 24 million of funding into those companies. The business angel landscape actually is growing rapidly on the island. It's very vibrant. Now we have had some distance to travel. Perhaps the first thing to acknowledge is that the business angel investing happens at a couple of levels. There's what's known as an invisible market that happens on an ad hoc basis, investing through people, through family, through friends, through contacts. What we're about under the HBAN umbrella overall is the formalization of the business angel landscape by putting together business angel networks and groups of people that would regularly invest together. And in that regard, we've had significant progress. The network started with the Irish BICs, who were the pioneers in this area. And under the HBAN umbrella in recent times, we've been, raising business angel awareness on the island, and secondly, creating a range of business angel syndicates, some of them general syndicates and some specific and particular verticals. I've already touched on the Irish BICs, who perhaps were the pioneers in this area and here in Northern Ireland itself. But in addition to that, we have a range of syndicates that have developed over the recent years. The largest of those perhaps is ERIS, and that's involved across a range of sectors, including, interestingly, in the life sciences area. Here in Dublin, we have Bloom Equity, which is in technology software area. Out of Cork, we have Boole Investment Syndicates, which is a general technology syndicate. In the southeast, we have a new syndicate under establishment called Fuse. In recent times, we have some particular vertical ones, one in the food area, one just being created in the medtech, both on an all-island basis. And in the Midlands, we have one called Lair, and there's one in Longford also. And finally, we have a cross-border business angel syndicate also. So as you can see, there's significant development underway, and some of these syndicates are operating at a pretty advanced level, and some of them are more embryonic, and we plan to create some further ones over the next 18 months. My first advice would be for companies to be conscious of what it means for an investor investing in a startup company. I referred earlier, there's a lot of research done in the area. The research shows that about 10% of all business angel investments get a 10x or 10 times return, which sounds fantastic. We'd all want a piece of that. The devil in the detail shows that between 50 and 60% of individual business angel investments get less than 1x return, which is somewhere between 0 and 1. So my advice to entrepreneurs is, if you're seeking funding, you need to be conscious of the risk that exists for the investor. And in that regard, if you do succeed in taking funding on, the next thing is you should treat that money as if it was your own. The journey is a challenging one for entrepreneurs, and if it wasn't, everybody, I guess, would be doing it. It's not easy, but the opportunities to succeed are there, and I would say to be grounded in reality, to be cognizant of the challenges that exist, and seek as much help as you can on that journey. For companies seeking funding, I guess the first thing is that we like to try and ensure that they are investor ready, or as investor ready as possible. On the island now, we have a very strong entrepreneurial ecosystem, and there's a lot of activity, including evidenced most recently, I guess, by the accelerator programs that have arrived here for startup companies. Typically, the companies will approach either directly to the business angel groups, or perhaps to the Irish Business Innovation Centres or here in Northern Ireland, and these would work with the companies in getting them investor ready. After that, then they apply directly for funding, and they can do that in an online manner. And the typical business angel groups and syndicates then meet on a regular basis, many of them as often as once a month. They will see 3 or 4 companies. The companies will get a chance to pitch for perhaps 10 minutes, and then there might be a 5 or 10 minute Q&A. It varies a little bit from group to group. And the purpose of that first day really is to get the business angels sufficiently interested that they want to come back and meet again. So it's important that the companies pitching keep the pitch focused on the business elements, and maybe not over technological, focus on business and market side. And if there is interest, then after the first day, the angels are linked directly with the companies, and market forces take place. typical period for a business angel for successful investment is somewhere between 3 and 6 months. We've seen it as quick as 6 weeks, and typically though it's 3 to 6 months, as I say. If I was asked the question a few years back, the difference would be significantly, and a traditional VC that might be investing larger amounts of money, which could be 2 to 5 million, will have long due diligence periods and will be involved in helping companies in serious levels of growth who are already perhaps established. Business angel investing, on the other hand, of course, is focused at companies who are perhaps taking on their initial round of funding. So some of them will be pre-revenue. About 25% of the companies that get money through the angel arena are actually pre-revenue. Interestingly though, what's happening in recent times is there is a coming together of the business angels and the VCs, insofar as the venture capital community has a sub-segment which is the seed venture capital arena, and many of the business angels and business angel syndicates are now co-investing together. So a typical example of a company might be a company looking for $750,000 or $1 million round of funding. It may be getting 250,000 under a Enterprise Ireland, HPSU as it's known, public funding. It may also take on seed money from one of the venture capital companies, and the business angels would also partake. There is a dual benefit there. For the venture capital companies, it's good to have an active angel involved, and for the business angels, it's great to have a venture capital company involved that can follow the money later.